I even think the song "Rope," which is the song after it, sequentially, right, is that sort of thing, right? Is the tension between your heart and your head of why you made these choices and
Yeah.
what you see, how you see other people living and how they made their choices,
Man.
and quote unquote, maybe even what is success. You know?
Man, I'm really glad you asked about Rope. I was really excited to talk about this. I was hoping you would. Rope was such a fun song to write, and it was such an interesting, like, I feel like it's one of the most honest songs I've ever written. It was a song that I actually wrote. When I wrote it, it's unique in the sense that I didn't write it with... A lot of times I get an idea when I write a song. My process is like, I'll just be working, at my job or something. I'll be filling a soda for somebody at their table, waiting tables or whatever, and like I'll get like a little melody in my head or something, and I'm like, oh man, that's a really cool melody, and like I'll hear like a lyric or an idea, and I used to go and record. I'd actually call my phone and leave myself a voice message of this idea, and so like I'd have like 30, 40 voicemails to myself. Now I have an iPhone, so I just use that little
voice memo app.
Yeah, voice memo app. Yeah, but I would and then like I take that idea and I go home and I work on it whenever I have time. I'm like, all right, let's develop, and I sit down with the guitar. When I wrote Rope, I was working with Robbie, who was our bassist at the time, in a fireworks tent, like a roadside fireworks tent, where you have to stay there for a week, or it was 10 days, and but you had to guard the fireworks at night. You couldn't leave this fireworks tent, so we had to sleep there too. Wow. So we had our van that we toured in, which I had built bunks into. So we brought our van there, and so we would sleep in the van. It was kind of like being on tour, because we'd sleep in the van, and then we would get up, at 8 in the morning and open up the fireworks tent and work 12 hours. And then at the end of the night, we would... And that was when we had... that week, I had first gotten to Twitter, so I was like, oh man, Twitter is amazing. And so I would like tweet, say like, hey, we're hanging out tonight at this fireworks tent. Who wants to come hang out? And we had some, a couple of people. We had some people drive out from Philadelphia that wanted to hang out, and like... It was really cool. Every night we'd kind of have like a little bit of a party. But anyways, so I'm working at this fireworks tent. I'm working at this fireworks tent. This is such a crazy week. And we're there, and at one point, this girl that I used to date, I find out she got engaged. A really great friend of mine, Ethan, had, I think he was already married at the point. He found out he was having a baby, I believe. Or maybe he had just gotten engaged as well. I can't remember. Something. It was like a big life moment like that. Like I had my friend Brandon came by, a really good friend of mine, and his older brother Brad was the guy that had originally signed us to Mono versus Stereo the first time. His older brother Brad was worked at MVS. Brad Moist.
Brad Moist,
yeah.
Great guy.
So Brad comes by, and here I'm working in this effing fireworks tent, and here's the guy that signed us, and then we ended up, like, the label released us or whatever, and it's like, hey man, how you doing? It's like 3 years later, and I'm like, still wasting my life. I'm working in a freaking fireworks tent on the side of the road. Would you like to buy some snakes and sparklers? Like, it was so, and like, I was just like, holy shit, where did I go wrong? Like, I'm working in a fireworks tent, and like, everybody else in my life is moving on. They're having like real life experiences, getting married, they're having kids, they're buying houses, they're like moving on with their lives, they went to college, they have an education, and I have gone terribly wrong. And so I wrote that song. Actually, I didn't have a guitar there, which is crazy. I don't know why. I thought I'd be somewhere for a week and not want to play, fiddle around on guitar. So I wrote this entire song in my head, and it was kind of like, I wrote the lyrics and like wrote almost, I think, the entire thing in my head, and then like I had this and so like I finally, like halfway through the week, had somebody bring me a guitar, and it was really fun because it was like, if you've ever had like a song stuck in your head from the radio, it's like, oh, I want to learn how to play this song. I want to learn how to play Freshman by the Verve Pipe. Verve Pipe?
Yep.
Okay, this is the Verve and the Verve Pipe, but like it's like hearing that song and like wanting to learn how to play it by yourself. It was like that, only it was my song. It was kind of an interesting experience to like learn how to play my own song.
Right.
And so that's what that song is about. It's just like the frustration of like everybody in my life is moving on, and they're doing things, and they're all like, the novelty of what I'm doing, this music thing, is really starting to wear off. And like I'm starting to feel like I have made a terrible mistake. I've made a terrible decision, and I am just like heading down this road, and I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm working in a fucking fireworks tent. Pardon my language. I'm working in a fucking fireworks tent, and everybody else is living life. They're doing real things. They're being grown-ups, and it's like, Mama, I'm covetous of my friends, but not of their stuff. It's of their lives. It's of their kids, their 10-year plans and career choices.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's what it says. Like, I'm so happy for my friends, but at the same time, I'm jealous. Like, what am I doing with my life? So that was kind of like a very selfish thing to write about. But
no, that is truth, and that is honesty, man. That is all of it.